Hey, welcome back, guys. So, back at the shop as always. Work, having fun, loving it. We're all done with painting the 1964 Oldsmobile Dynamic 88 convertible. So, I chose the stock color on this car, Regal Mist, and it's going to end up with white interior and a white top, just like it was off the assembly line. So, let's go check it out. We always got lots going on here, and finally got to do a paint job here and get something going on. You know, it's part of the process of just building all the cars and stuff. So, clear coat, base coat, clear coat turned out pretty good. You know, every job's always got its interesting bits, we'll call it, and we'll discuss that. So let me turn on the light here. Right on. Okay. So, right at the scene of it here. So, a little bit of dust in the paint. You know, I'm not at all concerned with that because I'm going to cut polish this car. You know, I'm in by no means a production shop here where we get things out the door in 6 hours and it's out back in service. So, you know, I got to put the whole front grille together on this still, put all the trim on it. You know, there's a ways to go still, but painting it is one part, right? So, yeah, everything, pretty happy with it. What we did was I shot this car in sealer. First, everything got sanded down. The clear coat and everything that I had on this car before went good. What happened was when we were moving this car from my last shop that I had, we have people helping, and so somebody's helping, they just crushed the door in on the side by pushing it. And by crushing, I don't mean like bad, but it was enough that, you know, these cars, they're nicknamed slab sides for 64, and it had a little wow in it, and I just was not happy with it at all. And with the red, you know, as time went on, I was not into it whatsoever. So the foundation I have down on this car, obviously it was stripped down to bare metal. It was, you know, primed in epoxy sealer and bodywork all done, and then put the filler over top of it and a seal coat and paint. So what we had to begin with was pretty good. What I ended up doing here was taking everything down with 600 to prep. So everything got just sanded down with 600, some areas 400, a little bit of body patching here and there, just taking out marks from moving it and just little dings and stuff like that that happened on the transport, which is what happens when you're not finishing a job and you have to pack up everything on the fly. So after it was prepped out with 600 grit, we sealed the car off. I used the dark sealer on this just so that the red really pops coming through the back of it. And the sealer went pretty good. Now, the one problem that I did have on this job was I had a paint suit here that I'm wearing. And I got this one for free, and it turns out that it's 3 times extra large. And what happened was it poked out on the front so far. So I'm walking around, first off, painting the car, paranoid that my hose is going to drag on the paint and stuff, because my friend I had here helping it with a bit of filming, he does not want to be on camera. So the stuff we see here, he was not in the shots at all, which meant that he wasn't able to tail me by pulling the hose behind me. So I'm thinking of that the whole time. Basically got over the fender right about here, and I'm starting to hit it with sealer, and bang, the front of the paint suit goes into the fender and just wrecks the sealer. So a little frustrating, I was a little bit worried, let it flash off really nicely, and went at it with just some 600 wet sandpaper and was able to take down the marks that were in the car, and everything was nice and flat. So crisis evaded, we're back in business here. So I really thought we were going to let that flash off for a day to be able to do it, but it turned out running about 80 degrees Fahrenheit in here, about an hour and a half of flash was good enough to sand it. So sealer coat all went on, we're happy, and then base coat. So we were mixing up, this base coat's a 1-to-1 ratio, reducer and base coat, and we went through just about, I would say, 5.5 quarts doing this car. Just with the red, it's a temperamental color, especially with the iridescence in the paint, that we had to make sure that the coverage was there. So I really put the base on this thing. It was, I'd say, 3 coats in total going on it for base. Base coat, again, couldn't have went on better. Everything looked good. Went over it with my light, checked it out. Nothing for tiger stripes. Really happy. And then mixed up some clear. So clear coat wise, we ended up using the pack. So that worked out to, I think, 5 quarts in the end. And just used it up. A little bit left over, but loaded her up, filled it up. I did the inside of the hood. I did the inside of the jams and just got the clear on the car. So there's definitely dust on this. Like I said, it's getting cut and polished. It's not at all a worry to me. I know what I'm doing in that aspect, and we'll have a nice finish when we're done. So yeah, thanks for coming out and checking out the car. And really appreciate you guys watching these videos and just following along on the journey. I really want to try and make you guys a part of what's going on here, and input, it helps, it matters to me, especially on these builds. This is a little bit, for me, 60s cars. I don't mind it. My heart's in the 30s, honestly, pre-war, but I still love Oldsmobile, like 394, come on. Every time, I'm always going to be a 394 guy, so I'm in. Yeah, so let's take a quick look down the quarter panel here, and then we'll end this one with firing up the GoPro, and we'll just walk around the car and just show the clear coat again. I did end up getting one hanger here, or one drip here, which again, we're going to be cut and polishing it, and you're not going to see any of it. All the dust in the paint, anything will come out of it. First job through the booth here, and really, I'm happy with what it is. I don't expect to be putting any nailing out perfect jobs here, especially on the first one through a new booth, right? So really appreciate the likes on the videos, really appreciate anyone subscribes to it and just wants to come hang out, and a lot of work going on in the shop right now. Once the weather clears up, we're going to be out there in the field. We're going to go to some cool places. We're going to go see some cool stuff. And we got a lot of stuff in store coming up here. Some cool cars to come through the shop here. Some very rare cars coming up. And I can't wait to show you guys and have you along for the ride. So maybe show one of the back of the hood here. Or back of the deck lid here, but this one turned out pretty good too. Little bits of dust everywhere, of course, but quarter panels and stuff on the car turned out really nice, and I'm happy. Got the inside here, everything done. So, still going to paint the trunk obviously on the car and get the rest of it done. So, yeah. Cool, so right on. Enjoy the rest of this one, guys, and talk to you soon.